Milano.
Forza Milan, yes.
Forza Milan. En the Champions League.
Ay, huevo. Tuesday 14.
Ahora
14th.
sí se les hizo. Ahora sí se les hizo entrar a la segunda ronda.
Yeah.
Después del fracaso de la temporada pasada.
Bueno, no fracaso.
Fue un fracaso, no pasaron. Fue un fracaso. Pero bueno. Les toca el 14 de febrero.
Is this Valentine's Day?
Sí, el Día del Amor y la Amistad, papá.
¿Qué vamos a hacer?
¿Dónde te voy a llevar? Mira, son tan malos que ni tienen los escudos.
I noticed that. What's up with your website?
Anyway, Milan contra Tottenham. 14 de febrero. Día del Amor y la Amistad. ¿Cómo le va a ir al Milano?
I'm not too confident también en esto porque igual que en la Serie A. No, porque I've noticed that Milan in Milan against English clubs, they don't play them as well. They get worked by English clubs in a sense. Chelsea, Liverpool last season, Chelsea this season in the group stage, like they just look like un equipo totalmente diferente. Ni juegan ni cerca de lo que juegan contra equipos en la Serie A or even in the group stage against these other clubs. Pero I'm worried. I was hoping more for obviously like a Club Brugge or a Benfica or something along those lines, or Frankfurt even.
Royal.
Yeah, exactly. Pero la verdad no estoy muy confident. I think that as of this moment, pienso que no van a avanzar para la siguiente ronda. We still have a few, like a month and a half to go. Pero a ver qué pasa. I'm not too confident though.
I mean,
out of all the English teams, though,
you got the better side.
You got the easier one, not the easiest house, obviously, because Tottenham is no joke, is no walkover.
Well, no, I and what I was telling you, I think it's a very even matchup on this case. Like, whoever goes through, I don't think you'd be surprised. You know, it wouldn't be an upset,
right?
On whatever end, whoever ends up going through, it wouldn't be an upset. Like, for example, if you're going with Frankfurt, Napoli, right? Like, if Frankfurt goes through, then you'd be like, oh, it's an upset because you would think Napoli's gonna beat them, or Leipzig, Man City. If Leipzig ends up going through, which would be fucking amazing, that would be the best thing in the world.
Which is possible, actually, even though
but it would be an upset.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
So when it comes to Milan and Tottenham, it's whoever wins. I don't see it as an upset, and I think that's the same with Liverpool and Madrid. Whoever goes through, you're not surprised as to who ends up beating the other team, right?
Right.
So I do think AC Milan and Tottenham is a very even matchup. I think AC Milan could go through if they play their cards right. But again, like I said in the Liverpool cases, for the knockout stage, at least in the very first octavos, the round of 16, it all depends on how informed the team is coming in.
And it's similar con Milan because first match is going to be in Milan. So based on how they've recently been playing, which is not as well as they have in recent past, I think that's a must-win, that first match at home.
They should.
It should be a must-win. I
think if
there's no away goal rule anymore, right? They completely, I believe it's going to be back to the same season as last season. I like that new format, so I hope there's no away goal rule. I hope that it seems like last year's Champions League knockout stage was pretty exciting with no away goal rules. But anyway, that first match for Milan, tienen que ganar. Tienen que ganar porque la forma no está al nivel que he visto en el pasado. Y luego contra Tottenham, you don't want to go back to London
with
down
or
no,
exactly. If you're going down, you're basically calling it a
Yeah,
night and
exactly.
calling it a tie. I mean, obviously anything can happen, but I do think they should win or they must win. Um, or even if they tie, like they got to show that they overplayed Tottenham.
Oh yeah, no
You know,
question.
they got. I think if it becomes to be like, hey, it's a tie, but Tottenham overplayed us like by a lot, by a whole, like by a mile, then you're like, okay, you're going back to London, and it's gonna be the same thing. It's probably gonna be worse, and
I get the feeling that that's more possible than not. I've seen them against those two Chelsea matches in the group stage. They did not look good at all. They just looked flustered. Una fue goleada, I think. And then last year against Liverpool in the group stage, they did not. If Milan gave me confidence, and when they're in form, remember that first match last year in against Milan, where Liverpool went up early, right? But then like Milan out of nowhere,
like
just kind of
minutes.
like in 2 minutes they went ahead. That's when they're in good form and they're playing well. That's the Milan I like to see. Where
I just think they gotta lose a little bit of the fear in a way
Yeah.
of like the conservativeness of like, hey, you know, we're playing this team, got to play a little more conservative, and like I think Milan needs to worry about playing their own game, like play your game, play the way you play, don't play to your opponents.
and that's
Game,
that's
for
what I was telling. Well, I was telling Omar something similar where I feel like against the English teams, they try to play two por two in a sense, and there's just much more skill level at some of these English teams. What I was telling Omar, and I mentioned in one of the other videos, is don't be afraid to sit back if you need to and be patient, because you have the players like Leao, Theo, younger players that can run and counter all the way from your own end. You don't necessarily have to be pressing, doing a constant press at all times. Like against an English team, if you're trying to play that and you make slight mistakes, they're gonna van a anotar gol. Like they're gonna counter you. So because these teams seem to be at a higher level, have a better quality of players, just sit back. You know, play them like a Club Brugge would play a Man City. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to play that way. So it might be possible that they might have to play like that against Tottenham, depending on how Tottenham comes out.
But I
But we'll
mean,
see.
AC Milan has a good team, so I don't know. I like the way, like for example, Liverpool sometimes when they play Man City, they do sit back a little bit, but not too much. For example,
Right.
they don't like. This is one thing that I hate all the time in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Every single team that plays Man City, they always like sit back and they give Madrid all the Man City all the possession.
Right.
Man City just controls the whole game, and they just, okay, they break them. And it's like, okay, that's the 1-0, and then you know if Man City goes ahead one, like the first ones to go ahead, they got the win.
Right. Usually more goals are coming too.
Exactly. Because teams tend to sit back and wait and try to do the counter and all that stuff, which I get. Obviously, Man City, you know, it's a big team and whatever, but there have been times when, like against Liverpool, for example, like sometimes like teams don't care about like Liverpool in a way, and they play them al 2-por-2.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, I'm here to play my game, and they cause a lot of problems to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. You know, like, I mean, not cool for me because they're scoring or whatever, but it's like, why can't you play like that against Man City?
Right.
Like, why do you have to sit back? So I get it. Sometimes you may have to sit back. I mean, obviously it depends on the game and how the game flow is going.
Right.
You're 1-0, nothing, or you're 1-0 up, and it's like the last minutes. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to put another defender, take out a forward, just to kind of hold the result. And yeah, I get it. Like that's all part of the game, and that's probably how it should be done. But throughout the game, I do think AC Milan needs to play their own game. Maybe not jugarle como al 2-por-2, like 100% or whatever. But like, don't let the team dictate your game. For example, don't let the opponent dictate your game.
Yeah.
Like I think AC Milan is a big enough team that especially playing against Tottenham. I mean, if you're playing a Man City, then yeah, you kind of like, okay, got to hold back a little bit.
Right.
But Tottenham, I don't see Tottenham as a huge threat. I guess, again, I think it's a pretty even matchup. So I wouldn't let Tottenham dictate Milan's or my own game in the case of Milan, because I think Milan, the talent or the skills or the
there's enough skill there in a sense.
yeah, it's like it's balance. For example,
Yeah.
you know, it could go either way. So I think Milan needs to play their own game.
Yeah.